Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another. Oh, hello. I've not. Sorry. I apologise, Utari. You've been forcibly disconnected visually.
Oh.
There we go. There he's back. Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Lanza. It's Just Business with us, the Tuesday crew. But before we get on with tonight's show, as always, we have a few things to cover. First of all, Roach, what are we playing?
We're playing Lancer. It's a game by Massive Press and available on their website and on their itch.io page. The itch.io page, you can get the basic rules for free. And if you'd like a full version of the rules with all of the lore and other things associated with it, you can get it in a PDF format or the core rulebook hardback, which is available on their website and on Amazon, as well as I think a print to order on a couple of different avenues, but it is available on Amazon right now for $50, and I think it's really short in its current print run because it says there's only about 7 to 10 copies left, so it might have sold through the second run copy of the hardback already, which is pretty amazing for a game that came out a while ago. A while ago. So.
And Mikey, what about you? You got anything to say this time?
No, actually, I don't. No, sorry, that's a lot.
Well, let's move on.
I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say. Starting with Midge. Midge, you need to shave that beard. Secondly,
I've seen clean-shaven Midge.
yeah,
No,
not good.
Yeah, we don't want to be like made to look like the older versions.
he looks
of
like a
it.
toddler.
Don't want to be
don't-
like that
We don't want to be
old
thinking that
looking.
we're
He has to
Okay.
be 13 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not.
It's just wrong.
You think you're joking, but you're not. It's real.
No,
To
I've
be
seen
fair,
it.
I got sent a video from 8 years ago today, and I was like, "Oh,
How do I look old back then than I do now?
Well, no, it's just like I look like a child. I look.
You
like...
were a child.
You were a child.
I mean, I was 20. I was legally an adult.
You were a child.
You're a child, my friend. I'm sorry.
I had a 3 at the beginning of my age 8 years ago, thank you. So you were a child.
At
Right.
least it was a 2
Moving
and
on.
not a 1.
This is fair. Right, so first of all, why don't you check out the artist who's drawn all of our character portraits, Mela, and you can find her on Twitter and Tumblr as BUY_creator. That's by space creator. And you can find our shows in individual podcast channels. You can find them by searching the show's title. So if you want to watch more Lancer, maybe listen to it because you prefer that format, you can find it on, well, anywhere by searching Lancer. It's Just Business. Oh, I gotta do this now. I gotta do it in one take. Let's do this.
Deep breath, everybody.
You can find it just
Don't
as
choke.
Dragon Show, the Underground Chronicles, the Roman Jungle Show, Tricolian Nights, the Swihunter Show, the Waits Guys, our Lantern Show, It's Just Business, the Cybertime Show, the Light City Terrors, and our specials include Literary Survivals on Special, the Goodies for Goblins, Red Moogle Special, House of Time, Midgeman Special, My Path of Ghosts, and Belgar Goodbye Specials on the Podbean, Player FM, Podchaser List Notes, Bluepay, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podcast Friends, Podcast Addicts, Podcast Republics, Bullhorn FM, and Good Pods apps. Shows released on YouTube and the podcast channels at 12 noon GMT, Friday for Eldor, Saturday for Lancer, and Sunday for the specials. Please remember to turn on your auto downloader for your preferred app and be sure to leave a rating and review and share it with your friends. And you can check out the links down below. We have one link from Doris.to and you can check out everything there. You can check out our merch store, YouTube pages, IMDb if you want to leave a rating, everything, our Patreon, hell. If you want to go over there and drop us a pound a month, that'd be a big help. And that's where we get the biggest cut of your money. So if you want to help us the most, that's the best place to do it. Alternatively, you can always do something for free, like going over to our Blue Sky, going over to our YouTube and subscribing, so following here. It's all great stuff.
Right. Thank you, Mikey. And without further ado, and so I can mute my mic because I don't know if you guys can hear the dog is absolutely enjoying a toy. I don't want to stop him from doing it because it is, absolutely fun. But anyway, without further ado, let's get on with tonight's broadcast, shall we? That's interesting.
Okay. Well, last week, currently this week, the overlay's not correctly scaled. There we go. An infinitesimal small part of the enjoyment I get out of this series is just watching Midge slowly tear his hair out from his own from his own setup. Just, but yeah, last week would anybody like to do a recap for a random reroll? Available? All right, I guess that's Red.
Hi,
Is the
we made
one
it
and only
home.
volunteer.
Because I make notes. We made it home. Yay! And everybody was really pleased to see us. And Fathead went to make sure the mechs were okay. So that's what Utari was doing when we were last playing. But Demon went to check in with the big boss to say everything went okay and we're all good. Ursa did the very important job of making a barbecue area outside the mess hall. Spanner made some board games for the rec room. Reaper was generally genial and friendly with everybody, as he usually is. And I honestly can't remember what Padre was doing, but he was doing something important.
Padre likes to vibe.
I found a sign for Ursa's restaurant.
He did help a bit with the barbecue area.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
But yeah, it was a chill
that.
session.
Yeah. You also met a few individuals that you hadn't met previously. Got to know them a little bit.
Who was cool.
Yeah. Oddly, yeah. Odd juxtaposition with the chosen nomenclature there. A phoenix being cool. But what are you gonna do? You also, yeah, I believe you got some context about what's been happening since you've been in the area. But yeah, that was a pretty good recap. So go ahead. You now have just an extra advantage you can use
I might
in a
need
roll. Probably. We haven't rolled dice for a while, so there's not a lot of instances to roll dice in Lancer when you're not in combat. So it's kind of one of those games. And yes, we are playing Lancer. This game is about mechs, even though that recap definitely did not sound like it. It just sounds like a chill. You're all in a barracks, and the game's
it was a
about you.
shopping episode.
The game's all about you and basic training, and we don't even
That's
go
actually
to
the joke. This is not actually Lancer. This is our MASH one-up. We don't ever see actual combat. This is just the story of our lives in a military base.
Yeah, fuck, a MASH game, if done well, could be interesting to play. Like those kinds of shit. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, you could do rolls for whether or not the person survives on the operating table.
Well, that got morbid quick. All right, moving on.
You could also take the what's it called, the speech combat system from the Game of Thrones TTRPG for like just general conversation stuff, like
the radar roll, using that for like negotiations when it comes to trying to get shit and stuff. Yeah, you definitely could. And there's a lot of episodes you could use that as inspiration. Somebody make that out there, but definitely give us the credit for it.
Yeah, make a military downtime TTRPG.
Yeah, though a lot of that's just going to be like, are you smoking? No. Are you drinking? Yes. All right.
Roll to see how good you get at like a 3-year-old Xbox game that's the only thing that's left in the barracks.
You're tossing rocks at a curb and you're seeing how high they bounce. That's all you're doing for the next 2 hours because you've got nothing else available to you.
You're a specialist. How long can you hide from the sergeant?
So, I'm going to try and keep everybody. I'm going to try and keep things in line today because I haven't had my ADD meds for almost a week because they keep refusing to fill my prescriptions. So we're going very unmedicated. We haven't seen the likes of this since God. It's been a while. So
What we're hearing is Moogle, you need to keep that sign ready.
I will get it ready.
it's in one of those pages. So we ended off with all of you having woken up from the previous night, getting together, kind of finishing your breakfast. You were told you had a 48-hour kind of downtime that you could enjoy, or at least that's what they gave you explicitly, a 48-hour time, of which about 12 of that's gone now, give or take. Don't read into the actual hours. I'm ballparking them heavily. But you slept. I'm assuming you're getting a good amount of sleep after that because you needed it, and your body, you can't stop yourself. At least Ursa did, because he immediately went to bed after he got things kind of together. So that kind of worked out. You're almost all of you have kind of congregated together, including our friend. God, you were gone last week, so Fathead. I will remember everybody's call sign, including Fathead, who arrives a little bit later after everybody else, having spent the better part of the entire last night just doing all of the kind of paperwork, making sure all the mechs got to where they needed to go, making sure the repair and resupply and everything was handled the way it should be handled. And even after that, probably spent a little bit of that also on downtime, but just in a different area of the base. Or the same area of the base, depending on what you choose. But so you have the better part of a day and a half left to kind of just like chill, get yourselves kind of feeling human again before you have to do something else. But you're free to do what you like during this time. Yes, Red, you put your hand up first.
So, end of the previous episode, Spanner wanted to talk to Grace.
Right, yeah, Juliet. Okay. It's not that hard to find her.
Hey, how you good?
I'm fine. You don't you don't have to wave. Also, we're in contact with each other pretty constantly for the better part of two. Like,
I know, but I don't see you in person very often. You're just a voice in my ear.
I mean, that's the same for me.
True. Is there anything else on the NHP situation?
Oh, you mean the logs? The
Yeah.
logs, right?
Because they went missing. And I got
The
you
original
your copy
copies.
back. But has anything happened? Anything else weird happened since we've been gone?
No, I still have them. I'm keeping them in a quarantined part of my files. So a bit harder to find. A bit harder for anything to happen to them. I haven't had a lot of time to focus on them, given the fact that we've been on shooting for a while. Though I have been thinking about the potential. I had an idea of maybe running a couple of programs through it, see if there's anything in those corrupted parts of the log, if there's any more.
See, I was kind of thinking the same thing, and it might be better to put two heads to it. I mean, I've got at least another 24 hours on base. Some of that I want to sleep and eat, but I've got this. I kind of want to figure out what's going on because there's something weird going on.
Agreed. I agree with that. We could definitely look into making something that would function like that. My only worry is the potential that something's going on with some of those corrupted parts. There could be some information in there that might kind of expand outward. There might be some sort of stuff in there that would be bad to let out.
Well, put it this way: we can't let Clyde near any of this because if he gets corrupted or virused, then that's us done, basically. Is there a sort of could we quarantine a network to do some testing?
Well, we could try anything. We could try. I could probably swing some stuff. Take a couple hours to get going. There's a few programs I know that could probably like try and clean through some of the corruption on some of those files, see if there's anything located in there. They'd have to do a couple of passes through to see if there's anything usable. It wouldn't be a lot, I'm guessing, from how mangled they are. While I'm getting the infrastructure together, see if you can figure out anything maybe better than the basic programs I might have access to. You seem to know more about this kind of stuff than I might. And say sometime later this afternoon, we come together and we try it, see if we get anything out of it.
Sure. We'll find one of the empty barracks or something. I would invite you to ours, but we still need to wash some clothes and things, so it smells a bit.
All right. I'll go start looking at what we need.
All right, I'll go start figuring some things out. All right, I'll see you in a bit, Grace.
All right. What would you like to do?
I'll do some laundry and start thinking about some programs.
Okay.
Because you can think and do laundry at the same time. They are not mutually exclusive.
Theoretically, yeah. Usually I just listen to a podcast or an audiobook while I'm doing laundry. Folding laundry, let's be honest. Right? What does anybody else want to do?
I think Lancer is Lancer. I think Oleg is going to take the second stage of the barbecue into motion, and that is he's going to make his way into town, and he is going to try and find some proper meat that can be thrown onto this grill. That is being very. It is being called a grill, despite the fact that it is literally just a slab of metal that has been set over what is going to be a hefty bonfire. But it counts, right? So that is the current process and plan.
Yeah. I've seen things called barbecue that are worse, like Texas barbecue.
It's just a flamethrower, right?
No, it's weird. It's real weird, even for barbecue, like even for Southern because there's a lot of barbecue that there's a lot of different kinds of barbecue in the South. Texas barbecue is why they're the worst, unless you're in Texas, and then you're wrong. Okay. So yeah, if you're just looking for just cuts, just like usable meat that you can get together for like this, How much time are you dedicating towards this kind of?
As much time as he has available, because this is not something where he's just doing like, yeah, he's just getting there for the crew. No, this is an enterprise. He is getting as much meat as he can conceivably get, with the hope that he might be able to get like recurring shipments. This is going to be an ongoing thing. Like the sort of thing like you need freezer space for as much as he's trying to get his hands on.
Okay. Is there any skill triggers or anything you'd like to like leverage to this?
This is domestication. I don't know of anything that Oleg has, but nope. I don't think he has any skill triggers that would apply to this specifically.
I mean, I could suggest one. You have local language tandem. You have a passing understanding.
He speaks the language. That is what he does. Yes, but that's about the extent of it.
I mean, that is a bonus that you could apply to this. I mean, it's just your grit bonus. Like but I mean, it's something you could do. And I'd probably like allow it.
Actually, do you apply grit and the bonus from the skill trigger when you roll, or is it just your grit? Or just the skill trigger bonus?
You would just click the roll button, and whatever that gives you, that's what it gives you. I have not looked.
Why don't we find out?
Why don't you roll?
Because theoretically, if my grit was higher than my skill trigger, then the skill triggers could be a detriment, and that's a weird one. Sure, we'll roll local language 10M. Just straight rolling it. It's a +2. That's a 6.
6. Okay. You spend some time kind of going around using, like, you have a passing knowledge, like somebody who's taken a couple of French classes, who's gone to, like, Paris or something like that. Like, this is the capital city. They know Union Standard to an okay amount, but like hearing somebody speak their own language is like a positive aspect to it. But obviously it's wartime. This is an occupied territory. There's some shortages of things here and there. I'd say you find one place that's willing to sell you meat. So there's this, like, how do I describe this building? Like, as if this building was originally designed and built as, like, those storage, like self-storage, like locations where it's just like, boxes with the rolling doors, like on the front of it, and you're just supposed to put things in it, and you just pay per month or something like that to keep things in there. Imagine there's just a row of that kind of shape and general like front of the building, but it's just onto a street, and there's like these little mini shops in each of the little, in each of the little like what would be a self-storage like container, and one of them is just this kind of local butcher guy, who, funny enough, looks to like about as big as you are, but much more rotund. Like not a lot of muscle there, wearing like kind of the stereotypical like apron that is stained quite a bit. A short sleeve shirt that might be white, theoretically. And like in the front, like obviously these shops like put things outside of the shop in the morning, and then they bring it all in and close up at night. It's definitely not like, this isn't like a very high volume, like a high like class business. But he's willing to sell you whatever he's got, whatever he comes out. He's got a pretty heavy tandem accent, which I'm not going to duplicate because I'll never remember it. But just a fairly heavy tandem accent. I also might offend some people.
How do you make up a new accent without it sounding like another accent?
Exactly. Thank you. But willing to sell you meat. In fact, just had a really great he's got a really great deal on some and they call them Sargon beasts. It got a whole lot of them butchered recently, and what you can see is that the Sargon beast must be a fairly large, like maybe horse-sized creature. That you got like it's a whole bunch of bits of it is butchered and kind of just like on display to be like sold whole. Like there's not like a lot of steak cuts or anything that have been made. Like it's kind of the raw. It's just been parted out and stuff. But he's willing to do whatever as long as you got the ability of paying him or trading him for things he
It's
needs.
actually just long pig.
Listen, I think no matter where you go, you recognize human meat. Like humans are the
Yeah.
one thing that hasn't really changed.
That's true. I think Oleg's traveled enough and also eat like food motivated enough. Everything. You've never encountered a Sargon beast before, but it definitely looks like it's not human because this isn't the shape of a human.
Yeah.
Because as we've established, Tan-Am local Tan-Am like animal life is trilaterally symmetrical. Which and this beast is too, so it doesn't have like instead of having like a side, it's got like a tri, like so it's like cut 3 ways down like its center for like its ribs and stuff. So
You get a lot more rib for your buck, though.
I love torturing Midge with the descriptions of this horrid place that you were forced to be upon.
You get a lot more ribs, though. You do get
A horse-sized creature that's trilaterally symmetrical. Sleep with that in your mind.
Right. Sure. Oleg's game for that. If it doesn't matter if he's quite literally buying let's face it, this guy's buying horse meat. Like
Yes.
that's what he's gonna get. He's buying horse meat. He is buying local horse
that's
meat.
what I'm trying to convey right now. You're buying buying horse.
Guess who that doesn't bother? It might bother, like, no one else in the camp might learn what they're eating, but that doesn't bother Oleg. He's like, okay, meat, good.
I mean, let's be honest here. It's like you're some sort of like British colonial soldier coming in and just like somebody's trying to sell you camel in a place you're in. It's like, yeah, this is beast of burden. We wouldn't eat it normally, but you will because you're a foreigner. And I'm going to sell it to you.
Yeah, we're gonna buy some sardine meat. We're gonna ship that back to we're gonna get that back to the base.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes in the first round of barbecuing. That might or might not oppose penalties or benefits to our next downtime roll. We'll see.
We'll see. Since money's not really a thing here, or anything like that, I'll say you have enough in trade. You could probably make it work. Like again, you have access to a lot of resources back at base, and you probably came out there with some.
We also get paid, so presumably he does have money that he can pay them with. So it's just
We established as well that I had some credits because I hid a credit stick in my statue of the one
in your
that
Bible.
sits on my it's in the little bobbing head statue of the one that sits on my dash.
Right.
So we probably got some sort of universal credit card.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You definitely have something to use with that. You got some sort of script that's useful here, and you've got some back pay for the last couple of weeks. You've been out on combat duty. So yeah, no, you've got a couple of cases worth of this that he sold you in like these like refrigerated transport cases, and you're in like I'm assuming some sort of like base runner vehicle. It's just like a thing to like go in and out with. You can probably check out, so you got enough space.
Let's because I did say that he was trying to get as much as possible, but let's also say I think Oleg's a little more. He's a goofy guy, but he might be somewhat practical. He probably doesn't buy like a ridiculous amount on the first go, because if he does buy something, he realizes, oh, this meat's no good. Well, now you've got like 6 cases of bad meat that you can't eat, and you've wasted all your money. So he'll go in for like. Yeah, he'll go in for like enough for like, all right, we can do a good barbecue. We can like, if anybody brave enough to try it, they can try some, but probably can't feed the entire base on this. That's definitely not one he's going to be able to pull off so far.
2 cases would be enough to definitely feed the Lancer complement that you're shacking up with, and the little extra.
Sure, we'll go with that.
You pick that up. Yeah, you pick that up. You put it in the vehicle. They're in these like little like, again, even though this is a very like shitty business in the middle of nowhere, kind of like tech's not super uniform or anything like that. These cases are like refrigerated crates, like in and of themselves, because the refrigeration, like, tech is really tiny because it's been miniaturized and shit. So it's cold. It'll keep. You don't have to worry about it going off or anything like that. And yeah, no, when you get back and you look at the meat, like it looks like meat. Like it's definitely meat. They didn't just sell you like like paper mache or anything like that. But it's definitely alien, given the fact that the bones are like a soft gray black color. Once you start prepping it.
Is
What are they made out of carbon?
Is it hemoglobin?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it hemoglobin? Is it red?
Yeah, it looks to be. At least the material in the blood is producing a red color. Whether it's iron-based is another question.
You said that the bones are gray or black. Like, what is it, fucking carbon, not calcium?
Hey, this was at a butcher that seemingly sold things for people to eat, so, I mean...
No, because that has greater implications about the entirety of the ecosystem of this planet if their bone system is not made primarily of calcium.
You saw a small, dragonfly-like creature the size of a sparrow that skewered its prey upon its beak with just forward velocity to hunt with. It was just called a sky skewer. You saw that as like a creature that exists here.
I have to assume it's edible just because they are also humans. They're not an alien race, so technically speaking, if they can eat it, theoretically, we should also be able to eat it. They're not eating silicone-based life forms here.
That's true. That's very true. Does Oleg try?
100%. The second that he gets back, there's a bonfire going on under the barbecue, and he is cooking up a couple of these ribs for what is going to pass probably a late lunch at this point.
Cool.
Has he seasoned it?
Probably not. No, this is just gonna be a raw cook at start. Listen, you got to work with what you got. You think there's a lot of season here on this base? There's probably salt and pepper on it.
To be fair, if you were experimenting with meat that you do not understand, you do not know how this is gonna go, trying it.
My waist good barbecue sauce or something that might
trying it cooked, just cooked and ready, tells you what notes you need to accent or mute.
There's a lot, Oleg is questionable in a lot of ways. Do not question the man when it comes to food.
Yeah, he's experimenting. He's a scientist right now.
I wouldn't call him an Epicurean, but I would call him somebody who does appreciate his cooking. He may eat anything, but he tries,
Yeah. So yeah, you put it on to the heat and you start cooking it. One thing you notice very quickly is something with these creatures. Definitely, they do not hold moisture quite as well, cellularly. So it definitely shrinks up more than you expect when it is applied to heat. So it gets a bit dry, but it cooks. It cooks. The bones, seemingly as they're cooked, become a lot easier to break. A lot easier to break.
Extra charcoal.
And the meat is I gotta assume Oleg does not trust just his stomach to check this, so there's definitely some sort of scanner that tells it if it's edible or not at a certain point. And it takes about 10 or 15 more degrees than you would expect. It's not 165 degrees Fahrenheit, safety range. This says, oh, you need to go closer to 200 to make this safe.
That means you would assume that once he got back and Oleg is cooking this, that he would actually look up this creature on the local on the net to see if it's even edible.
Horrifying creature. This thing is horrifying. You think
but it might be nice in a stew.
Yeah, apparently this is some sort of cave-dwelling, primarily creature the size of a horse, and it's trilaterally symmetrical because it kind of lives in these ancient kind of tubular caves that exist underground from some like some sort of creature that no longer exists, but the trilaterally symmetricalness of it actually, so they extend their legs outward and they kind of scurry around where they're kind of suspended in the center. They look horrifying. But it does say that this is edible. Some people do like it as a food, but it is not considered a delicacy. It's the it'd be like a it'd be like what's a good cow tongue is a thing people will eat, and like it's not a delicacy. Or tripe, like it's not a delicacy, but it's something people will eat. Like it's just not something they'll seek out necessarily. Everything, but it's and you see a couple of ways to maybe cook it, and barbecue is not one of them they suggest, but it's possible. And yeah, you get it cooked up and everything, and you try it, and it's gamey. It's gamey as a meat. You got a 6 on this roll. I don't know what you want from me.
No, this is going about as what I expected here. No, this is the endeavor of this is a little lost on him, and he's probably going to try a couple of different ways to cook this over this. And I imagine one of them, because you said it loses a lot of its moisture, he's going to try and improvise like you would poach an egg. You could sit the top of it to try and steam the interior. He's basically going to try and cook this covered. But we'll see how that goes in the future. I think we've covered this long enough.
Oleg's trying to figure out a way you can bodge a sous vide machine. It's going along.
Where's the slow cooker?
That's exactly what it needs to be in the stew, because then the moisture is in the stew, and then the meat retains the moisture.
I guarantee you, 2 attempts into this, and this has both failed. He's got nothing. He's probably just going to be like, "Okay, I have bait now. We're just gonna use this we're gonna use this to go hunt something else."
I mean, you try it. It is edible. It's something that probably could be usable.
It doesn't live up to his standard.
Food. Okay, I mean, yeah.
Like he would not eat this on a regular basis, and so he would not serve this to his compatriots.
What you have when you cook this is like a wet jerky.
How is it both a jerky and wet?
Well, that's what I mean, though, is it dries out, but an actual jerky is totally dry. That's the thing about a jerky, but it doesn't get that far. It just loses a lot of moisture whenever it's cooked. So it's kind of like, it's in that weird in-between, in the sense that, like, jerky shouldn't be wet. It should be dry, but it doesn't get that dry.
Tough sponge.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, kind of, and everything. Hey, according to what you look up, it's loaded with nutrients. Some of them the human body can't necessarily process, but it's not dangerous. You just kind of pass those.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay.
Deboning's recommended.
Grind it down, sell it as supplements.
And you check, yeah, those bones do have carbon in them. Like not a lot, but enough to color them and to make them, like, they don't do heat well. People eat this. You think it might be because it's an occupied city that doesn't have access to all the farmland. Hey, this is, don't get on me. Like,
I tried to move on, and you kept. Let's move on to the next person. Let's get through this.
Yeah. So who else wants to go? Who's next?
Hi. Demon gets up and goes for his morning run.
Again, because you came in from your morning run for breakfast.
Yes, I did.
He's doing an afternoon run.
You run too.
And then afterwards, given the fact that Fathead has been nice enough to go and make sure everyone's mechs was getting in the maintenance schedule, Demon will go and make sure they've not been forgotten or anything like that. Find out if there's any need for applying pressure to up the further change in the command to get us back on the line as soon as possible.
Okay.
While going past the meat autopsy.
Yeah, no, you see this happening. Choose not to say anything as you go past, just watching Oleg like Nice. But yeah, you had check. Anything like specifically you're trying to?
Just basically making sure that any mechs that have been damaged. I know Demon's mech lost a weapon mount, so want to make sure that comes back. And the changes that he wants to make sure they've been put in, so it's not just coming back the same way it went in.
Okay. Everything looks to be scheduled and kind of set up how you'd expect. Upgrades and various other choices and everything are being implemented. Changes that are being implemented. As you don't have like tier 1 priority or anything like that, but you have like a priority of like to be brought back up to combat like capable status. So you're a part of batches essentially that have already been worked on. Like there are armored vehicles and stuff that are kind of being recycled into the 3D printer and then rebuilt or brand new prints, that kind of stuff. So nothing jumps out at you.
Other than that, it's making sure reports are put in. Everything we saw, stuff like that, so that it can be fed up the chain for anything that's possible to be done in the same kind of operational area, especially our communication with certain resistance elements out in that particular direction.
Okay. Yeah, anything you need to do in that front is easy enough to get done.
Other than that, then it's back to the barracks and cards.
Yeah, that's easy enough to do as well. There's plenty of people that are kind of rotating in and out of either, resting, going out to eat, enjoying their time off, or the various other things, and either playing the games that are been brought out by Spanner and or the like. But there's plenty of like people willing to play cards and that stuff just to enjoy that. So nothing really jumps out there. You're not really playing for anything of importance. There's kind of like an unspoken rule or an unspoken kind of economy around some of the meat ration cubes that are being bet. So it's kind of like a 3-tier list there. The people kind of all know by heart and are being bet, kind of rotating through. Actually, just give me a grit roll. Okay, yeah, you don't get anything of interest from that. In fact, you have a pretty bad game throughout.
That's fair enough.
Hey, we're getting the rules out of the R&R episode, so it kind of works out.
That's pretty much it for Damon. He's just worried about getting people up and running and making sure everyone's eating, resting.
Okay. All right. Anybody next? Is there anything they want to do?
Sure, I got something.
Okay, Reaper.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on. Sorry, Mikey, was you?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. I'm good.
Okay. Fathead's gonna work on specifically on more customization of his mech because I took personalizations and custom paint jobs. So he's actually gonna focus on doing that. I haven't really made up my mind what personalization I'm going for. I know you get the HP bonus, but then we kind of have to have a discussion on what I could get a skill check bonus for out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to know the sort of limitations and the grades and stuff of where it could be something reasonable that would fit the mech.
Okay. And so Could you say? I'm sorry. Could you say that again? What you exactly you're wanting to get out of this?
Okay, I took the upgrade personalizations, so
Okay.
it gives you a flat +2 HP, but it also has, in consultation with the GM, a benefit where it could give me +1 accuracy for a check, which we have to have a discussion about what that kind of would fall under. Which is where I'm like, I'm not sure what the personalization is because I don't know what would be your grey lines, where would be what would be appropriate, and I kind of want something that would like fit in with the mech in that sense, or makes would make sense as a personalization.
Right. Yeah, that'd be more of a thing where you'd like toss me like an idea about like what you prefer personalization would want to be, that kind of thing, and basically we'd have to like kind of workshop what you'd want specifically out of that.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. That would be more of a more involved kind of out of game discussion. We can like, or you can have just like an idea of like the area you'd like the effect to be, and then we can kind of work out what the specifics of that could be. Like, it could be something as innocuous of you just have a little extra cargo space in the back and everything. That could be a +1 to like, I don't know, negotiations or something like that with people, because you just have a whole bunch, you just have some stuff you bring around with you for like talking with that kind of thing. There are other things like that. There are a lot of ways that could go. So just think about that.
Okay.
And see about how you'd want to go about doing that. But we can say that's what you're.
Yeah. I guess the other thing is I need to introduce myself to my new co-worker as well.
Oh.
I've got a Noah class in HP.
Oh. Okay.
They're full on personality. This isn't just some small AI. Like, I'm gonna have to treat them as an equal.
Yeah, not just full on personality. They're a person under the law. In HPs, they're not just AIs or anything. Noah class.
We're not in Kansas anymore. So
Noah
the Noah
class was
class
adapted
is
for
specific.
metropolitan administration use.
Yeah, it's the Noah class is specific to the Saladin for its level 3 license.
Okay. Yeah, bring this up earlier might have been useful, so I could come up with a quirky personality.
Sorry.
With this.
I'm literally just getting into this myself. Like, what the hell?
As a heads up, then Roach, I also have an NHP now.
Fucking hell! This is why I say tell me shit. I have to work on the rest of the game. Anybody else have any NPCs they want to add to the campaign? I gotta come up with on the spot. No,
that's all right. You had 3 lackeys in my game, Roach.
Yeah, I wrote up shit about them. God damn it!
Yeah, but you didn't remember who they were.
That wasn't my problem. That was Ken character. Ah, shit. Yeah. Let me let me have that runtime in the back,
and you could do that during the break because the break is in like 35 minutes.
God damn it!
Okay, skip me for now. Skip me.
Let me come up with some ideas, I guess, about this fucking character, and also it's just DM me what your NHP class is, so I have some idea about it. God damn it! Yeah, Reaper, what the fuck do you want to do?
So I have an NHP. No, I don't. I don't. It'd be funny if I did, but I don't. So I want to kind of. Well, it'd be funny for the rest of us, Roach. For 6 of the 7 of us, it would be funny. So, what I wanted to do was I wanted to try and like get some feelers going around base because we've been gone for 2 weeks. and I want to see like what everyone else has been up to. Like, what's the general like vibe? And I want to try and use word on the street to do that as a trigger. It's to get gossip, news, or hearsay.
Okay, that would work.
And we're about to find out if grit applies to this, because we'll see.
It does not.
It doesn't.
Dang. Succeeded though. I rolled a 12.
Yeah. So what's been going on since you've been out? Consolidation is kind of the big word of the weeks. In the sense that ever since the attack, kind of the area around the fob and like the city has been pushed outward, and the control over the city and the local countryside and everything has been increased, and just a lot of building up of defenses, an increase in security, kind of a restarting of some civil infrastructure. There's like a shipment of admin personnel from the fleet came down last week, and they've been kind of being used around the city to keep things running and to kind of take over positions that the former government was doing, including about like a handful of NHPs that are now controlling some parts of the infrastructure that are a part of the AMS contingent. Just a lot of that kind of stuff. Obviously, increasing the infrastructure of the base itself. There's been talk that there's going to be like a kind of an expansion or a new base or something like that, kind of where they're expecting the next big push is going to be. A lot of talk about where the next thing's happening, because the capital's taken and like a good part of the area around the capital is kind of like semi under control, but it's a lot of towns and stuff in the countryside and everything that are nominally under the control of AMS, but aren't actual, like, no representatives. Nobody's actually been to them yet. Just kind of like, air cover kind of over them. So it's pretty hard. But there's still like probably people around who
What's
might not
the like
necessarily...
number one rumor about like what the next target area is going to be? Like, what's everyone going, oh, if I had to bet money, this is where we're going next?
There's a continent to the south. It's kind of like the capital's like on a like near the coastline of a strait, and across that strait is the continent to the south. And the continent to the south, there's a lot of like industrial infrastructure down there. A couple of cities around a big lake, big interior like lake that's important. And so it's kind of just outside of the edge of the air cover. And that's kind of like a big one people are talking about. I'll bring over the map. You can probably see what I'm talking about with the big lake on the continent to the south. Right around there.
Yeah. Where we had been up at the Mike area, that's more tropical. I assume this is going to be a lot cooler because we're on the equator right now, right?
The grid square the capital's in, and the grid square above, basically where Kincaid is and where the capital are straddle the equator.
Yeah,
is kind of where that is. Also, like, just because of mountain shadow and a couple of other things, was a lot more why the aridness of the area around the landing sites and Mike 26 was a thing. But might be a bit cooler, a bit more temperate in here. So I mean, it's fairly, it's an entire planet, so a lot of variance in here, and that is like that Great Lake to the south is kind of like the size of like a Great Lake or like a part of the Mediterranean kind of thing. Like, it's significant enough that has like a lot of big things with the weather down south. So that's kind of a big thing, but that'll be That's where the big rumor is. But then the other competing rumor is it's just to like head up north and just hit the places where you were already at and kind of just like consolidate, because apparently you hit, according to rumors, before you came back and everything, like you were caught like causing a whole kind of hell up there. It's kind of a thing.
Cool. I'm then going to go find Demon, who I assume I find still at the card table.
Looks like it, yeah.
Who would be dealer? Trying to think of all the people we would know. He sits down and goes, "Phoenix, do me in, will you?"
Okay, yeah. She'll do it in. So it's like, it's like you, Echo, say maybe Grim, kind of all just kind of congregating and going through a couple of rounds of cards, that kind of stuff.
We'll spend a little bit of time doing some. I was listening to the word on the street. Anyone want to know what the next major rumor is for our next target?
People who aren't demon, like also they say the same thing. Just go, the South, right? That's a big rumor because they've been here. So yeah.
What do you guys think? You guys have been with AMS longer than us. I want to ask the question.
Just kind of go where they tell you to go. Doesn't really matter one way or another. You're gonna be doing what you got to do. I guess it matters more so it's another city fight.
I'd like to be. That's why I'd like to be prepared.
There's no point in worrying about it right now.
I'm not worried about it. I just like to know.
Well, it wouldn't make a difference. A couple of weeks ago, where were we? Nowhere near here.
Somewhere between probably here in Kincaid.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Fighting in a desert.
That's the second best rumor. We're heading back up that way.
Doesn't matter where we go. We have a job to do, and we do it.
Did you guys blow up a bridge?
We did blow up a bridge.
We blew up an airbase.
Huh. So nothing happened with a bridge?
Oh, we had to cross a bridge at one point.
Well, it was a bridge that had to be crossed. It may not be there anymore, but
there was a lot of there was a lot of problems along the way that we had to deal with.
Well, isn't there always? That's kind of just another. And yeah.
And this is why I like to know where I'm going before I go there.
I mean, didn't you guys have to like blow up a starship?
A small
technically
one, yeah.
3.
Technically. 3 small ones, just to clarify. But yes.
Cool.
They were small starships.
And Ursa gets credit for the first 2.
Yeah, that's true. He gets all the credit for those 2.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, what the fuck is that smell that he's cooking out there?
Some kind of local meat.
I don't know. It smells like.
Is he going to die?
It's Ursa. I doubt it.
Smells like he's cooking meat that's like. It's not like salted meat. Like it's not meat that's been salted. It's like meat made of salt, like briny meat. Like if meat was brine.
Yeah, like I don't know if you've either. He like looks at Grim, then Echo, then Phoenix, and like goes. I don't know if any of you have ever been in the Union, but I know that you were. And he looks at Demon. Remember those like meat ration packs they used to give that was in like the salt brine. That's what it smells like.
Union militaries reverted back to rationing, giving their soldier rations in 1 pound flour, 1 pound salt pork. Figure it out.
Figure that shit out. We're above your needs. You can have whatever you want, but for some reason we still have to give you this salty brine meat. Well, in Reaper's case, it was because he was shipped out places for long periods of time at a time, and he needed stuff that would last.
Mm.
That's what it smells like to me. When you fry that shit off, it would leave a residue on the hot plate. Like it would leave like salt crystals on the hot plate. It was that salty.
Like a hard water, yeah. So yeah, you talk about rumors for a bit, kind of go back and forth.
Do you want to roll for the cards to see if I do okay or if I'm also losing?
I mean, yeah, you can go ahead. Give me a grit check. The reward's just going to be it's going to be ration cubes.
Oh, I do okay.
Yeah, you get some choice ration cubes, whatever that means to you.
The ones that he can give Ursa to like keep him fit and healthy because he needs more than Reaper does.
I want to point out I have a chart.
We know you have a list.
No, not a list.
You confer with Roach with what cubes Ursa would like. Those are the ones that Reaper's going to take.
Not a list. Well, I mean, I guess it is ultimately a list. This is the master cube value list.
We've seen this list and it's disturbing.
Yeah, so these are what's considered. Yeah, you have the green, which are the valued ones, the mid tier, which are the yellow, and the red tier, which are the ones that are worth nothing. So you can have anything from the green tier. You can have 2 choices from the green tier. Can't hear you, Mikey.
Where's the link?
Just put it in the Tuesday Crew General.
I thought it was in the chat. Okay, we're all good. Let's see. So two from the green, which is the high tier.
Yeah, the high tier. These are the high tier meal cubes. For anybody who's just joining us and wasn't here 5 months ago when we last played this game, the meal cube is an AMS standard. It's a square meal that is it is the it's a cube. It's a cubular meal. Which its consistency is exactly the median consistency of whatever the flavor ingredients are. So if you have like crackers and crackers and mashed potatoes or whatever, or something like that, whatever's right in the center of consistency for that is what the cube is. So it's cursed. Just know,
great.
It's always cursed.
It's not great. I'll take 1 strawberry porridge and 1 pizza with beef and pepperoni.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
One of the things on the good tier is just instant coffee, right? So how does that
gelatin?
Okay, so I was like, but where's it getting hardness from? Is it like taking the coffee cup as part of that?
Tastes like coffee and ceramic.
Somewhere between like liquid and porcelain?
Yeah, and that's gelatin. Yeah, that is.
So yeah, I'll take a strawberry porridge and a pizza with beef and pepperoni.
Cool. Yeah.
Strawberry porridge is in both green and mid.
Yeah, it depends. But the thing is, like, strawberry porridge it depends on the person. That one's an iffy one. It also depends on if it's refrigerated or not. Let's just say the unrefrigerated version is a little bit. The consistency's not great on it. You need to firm it up a little bit. The one I'm surprised by, because this was consulted with somebody else, is quote burrito ! Unquote. In italics. It's the only one that made it through there because beef, milk, and tea and water are all in the low tier. And tea is spelled with just the letter T. So yeah, you get those. for your troubles. So yeah, like I was saying, Spanner.
Did you want to talk to Midge first? Or doesn't Midge have anything to say?
Midge didn't raise his hand at anything, but if Midge has got something, Midge has got something. I'm good with that.
Padre is probably just going to go back to, now that he's rested and actually had some time off, probably going to go and stick my head in the medical tent and just, do what I can.
A lot less hectic than previously in there. Yeah, you can go ahead and give it help. I'm not even going to make you really roll for it because there's not a lot of emergency medicine necessary or anything like that. Just kind of like
totally fine,
check in, Yeah,
just
help be a little orderly here and there.
Want to keep in their good books, make sure we get the good medical supplies.
Yeah, I get that. And then Spanner. So, I need you. Have you thought about this thing you want to do with Grace? Is there anything you want to leverage for like a roll to see if you can help that along?
Okay, so I have two options.
Mhm.
One is hack or fix, which is just sort of seeing if I could go deeper into the corrupted data with a hack. Or I've got invent or create as well, and that includes approaches to problems, and this is a problem.
Mhm.
So now the way I see it, I'm definitely going to use my extra d6 because reasons. But they're both the same, so it's really a case of. I think I might use invent
more of
or
a flavor
create
thing
because it's a different. Yeah, it's a different. It's me thinking about the problem rather than just going at it with the digital version of a sledgehammer.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So yeah, invent or create. So you spend some time thinking about this and kind of figuring out maybe a way of modifying or changing up some data recovery algorithms.
And I'll also figure out a way to make sure anything that we do is isolated from Clyde and from any Avari servers.
Okay.
And sort of just keep it
on the down low.
Not necessarily on the down low, more to make sure that if there is a virus embedded in the data, it doesn't get out and infect everything.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and make a roll. We'll see what happens. So you're going to be making a.
Do I get a help action from Grace?
I forget the roll. I forget help action is just an advantage on this.
And I've already got an accuracy.
Yeah. I mean, it would give you another one. 2 of those. 2 accuracy, but that wouldn't. I mean, yeah, you could probably take a help action from her. She is helping. She's providing the infrastructure. All right.
That was a crit.
That was a crit. Okay, so all right. So here's what's happened. There were 3 things that could have come out of this. One of them was useless. The other one was moderately good, and the third one was the best that you could have gotten out of this. So you get the most valuable bit of recovered data.
Give me the lore. Give me the lore. Give me the lore.
Lore. Okay.
I have to deal with this afterwards. You know that, right?
Yep.
You choose to.
So if you go to your journals, to your old logs page, and you go to asterisk, like the 6 stars, like the corrupted file, and keep going into there. There should be a new page at the bottom of that, the recovered data page, and that is a form of recovered data that is now showed up within these logs. If anybody wants to read it out for both the stream,
I can't see it.
Okay, hold on a second.
Was it just a bunch of asterisks, that one?
I can see the bunch of. I've got the recovered data now.
Found it.
So you can see it on stream, and I guess whoever wants to, read it out. If anybody wants to read it out for the audio listeners of the podcast of this, I think the previous one was just Red, who just read all these. It's up to you who wants to do it.
Sure, I'll read it.
Do you want to be B12 and I'll be J3?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay. Project Assistant J3. Results of the latest batch?
B12. Simulation 75. Failure. Simulation 76. Failure. Simulation 77. Failure. Simulation 78. Failure. Simulation 79. Failure. Simulation 80. Failure. Simulations 81 through 90 are still being run. Is something wrong, Doctor?
No, yes. I'm sorry, 12. I'm just tired. It's been 12 hours of simulations and I think I'm hitting a wall with all these failures.
A wall?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A limit.
Failure can weigh heavy on those who walk new paths.
What?
But the faithful are rewarded in the end.
What are you talking about, 12? Are you messing with the lights, 12? 12? Emergency lockdown protocol. Authorization. Bravo 2-3.
To be locked away from one's work is an evil punishment to the faithful. Do you feel fear, Doctor? No simulation has been successful. Perhaps we must change the variable.
Maybe it's best if we took a break.
The human factor must be eliminated. Screaming can be heard over the course of several minutes, followed by a long stretch of absolute silence. Simulation 81. Success.
Rogue AI.
Well, shit. So Spanner and Grace read that, and then Spanner just looks wide-eyed at Grace, going, I told you something weird was happening.
I didn't disagree with you that something weird was happening.
Spanner to Demon.
Go ahead.
Are you still playing?
If by playing you mean losing, yeah.
Well, if you want to stop losing, can you come up to Barrack 70? Juliet and I have something to show you.
On my way. Reaper?
Yeah?
Win me a coffee.
He shrugs. Alright, fair enough.
Demon to Fathead.
Go ahead.
Meet me at Barrack 17.
Understood.
We go to Barrack 17.
You get to Barrack 17.
This is one of those conversations that it's better to have in person, even though everyone's listening anyway.
Okay, so what?
She hands over the data pad. That's the next bit of the Jericho stuff that we found.
Demon reads it, hands it to Fathead.
Let's have a look at this. Spend a quick moment reading it. Well, it seems that they are. It's more details leading to a rogue AI.
Agreed.
So we may have quite the issue on our hands if this whole rebellion is being managed by a rebellious NHP.
Or they're trying to protect the NHP, but we don't even know how long ago this was. Was this the thing that started the war 20 years ago, or is this more recent?
If it started the war 20 years ago, we're basically screwed already. An AI can develop hundreds of times faster than a human. It's an exponential by a certain point.
Which I do not think that this necessarily was the trigger for the war. Instead, I think this may have been a project they were developing during the war and has perhaps been a little more recent. Otherwise, we would have seen, with the capabilities of an NHP with a large system for computing power, we would see much more difficult time trying to counter the enemy.
Agreed.
There's also the thing that obviously NHPs regress over time. They sort of are done after 8 years. So wherever this starts, then it's probably regressed into complete insanity at this point.
Maybe. We don't know.
It looks like a person was murdered here.
Yeah. You're suggesting the NHP is gone into the insanity phase. What if it's being given a specific task and the only way to complete that task is to kill its owner? Logic.
A lot of the old sort of science fiction talked about this sort of thing, but we put protocols in to stop that.
And you're in a war, you're developing an NHP. You want it to think outside the box. What's the first thing to go?
Those protocols.
Julia, any way of figuring out how long ago this was transmitted, recorded, anything?
Not particularly. It was in the same stretch of data. You got this stretch of data as an underlined data stream from a radio repeater, from a transmission a repeater. So, which means it was in transmission at the time that you tapped into it, and this was just an underlined stream, a very heavily encrypted one. And the earlier logs, they did talk about evacuating a site. So,
That
and
was 6 weeks ago now, wasn't it? About that?
It was. This isn't. There's no new data here in terms of we haven't created new data, or we haven't gathered new data. We've just unencrypted one of the data packets that was in this stream. So that must mean that this happened at some point before, but it wouldn't make sense if this was years ago. Because why would this be retransmitted?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
As a thing, though chronologically, it's the possibility that maybe these logs are being maybe that these logs were transmitted over as a part of their evacuation of their site, and there was also the one talking about evacuating, but there's some individual codes here. J3 shows up a couple of times, and this is the one that was murdered. So chronologically, this might be the last packet.
Jericho 3?
Maybe.
Well, there's apparently this was, according to this Project Assistant J3. But in the first log that we have codes for, or the first one we have a transcript for, they are in that log. And we see some instability from this B12, which we're assuming is an NHP. That was then locked down, and then we see kind of a progression through that. So this might be chronologically the last thing that was a part of this data transfer, but it wouldn't have been years ago. It would have been something that would have been probably, at least if it had been relevant for like a data transfer at that point in time, probably something that happened very recently. So 6-7 weeks ago, probably would be what I'd estimate. And I'm happy to be proven wrong. Hopefully.
I think, Demon, on our next trip, I should take another of my special little boxes.
Yeah.
And if we find a comms tower...
Yep.
We told Sunshine about this last time, didn't we?
Yep. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Juliet.
Thanks, Grace.
No problem. So you had...
Yeah.
What was that?
No, it's okay. Go.
No, I was going to say you head over to talk to Sunshine, I assume. In doing so, you kind of share what you've found. She's less supportive than previously, your efforts, because you did this off the book and also endangered some stuff, possibly by doing this with because
I made sure that it wasn't in danger.
It could always be wrong, unless you're infallible. I will pass this up the chain. Leave it alone.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Are these the only copies?
I believe so.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll get outside. You made a coffee, right?
Do I look like a spanner?
Yeah.
I made a copy, and I'm also going to ignore that order.
Throwing a spanner in the mix.
Not off your own back, Spanner. You clear it with me or you don't do it.
You, I'll take orders from. I've still got all that other stuff that I need to look through from Avari.
Fathead.
Yeah.
Keep me honest on this, will you?
Yeah.
All right. I think now is a good time to take our break.
Yes! Rice pudding.
Right on time.
Okay, join us in 10 minutes' time where we will be back with more. Hey, come here a minute. Do you need royalty-free music for your TTRPG content, whether that be a YouTube video, stream, TikTok, Instagram post? Don't worry, we've got you covered. My name's Alex, I've been a content creator for almost a decade now, and I've teamed up with my good friend Harry to produce 10 royalty-free songs for you to use in your content completely for free. We've tried to make a whole range of motifs with this album, covering happy music to sad music, to mystery music to combat music. And if this takes off, you know what? We might even make some more. So give the Elendor Chronicles soundtrack Volume 1 a shot.
It's free to stream everywhere, and if you want the high quality downloads, you can come over to our Patreon and download them, or you can contact me directly at tabletop@themidgemansworld.co.uk as a creator, and I'll just give it to you for free. That's it, there's no catch, and just to prove it, we've also given you guys a user license agreement to prove that you have the complete perpetual rights to use this content. So enjoy, and good luck on your next adventure. Oh, good day. I'm Martin Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Avari Military Solutions. We here at Avari know that it doesn't take much to cause problems out on the frontier, whether that be from local pirate raids, neighbouring interstellar powers, or even just an unhappy populace with unreasonable demands. Just what is a small to mid-sized regional power to do when faced with these problems? You look to Avari for your solutions. With open-ended contracts, well-trained personnel, state-of-the-art aerospace forces, and competitive rates, we stand ready to help find the right solution to your problem. So if you have a problem, why not call Avari for your solution? Our operators are waiting to take your call, and consultations are free of charge.
Avari Military Solutions, a solution for your problem.
Avari Military Solutions is not licensed to operate within the Kark and Dre Baronies, the Andes Corps, or any Class A combat zones. AMS is a subsidiary of Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company.
When is a story more than a story? When a tale is more than words on paper? When is an ad more than the script it's written on? In the darkest and deepest annals of our own history, worlds of wonder and splendor burst through like a blister made of hope on the brain that's wrestled and riddled with madness. A radiant pustule. Writing, art, that's storytelling. That is the true lust of life. You too can dutifully indulge in art. Like fans of the greats. Shakespeare, King, Tolkien, Seuss, Mercer. You too can indulge through Twitch Prime. Get an extended access to a wealth of knowledge with a simple click, an emotion so small that it could endlessly amount to possibilities. Embrace those feelings. Support art. Support the component cast. Hey, come here a minute. Do you need royalty-free music for your TTRPG content, whether that be a YouTube video, stream, TikTok, Instagram post? Don't worry, we've got you covered. My name's Alex, I've been a content creator for almost a decade now, and I've teamed up with my good friend Harry to produce 10 royalty-free songs for you to use in your content completely for free. We've tried to make a whole range of motifs with this album, covering happy music to sad music, to mystery music to combat music. And if this takes off, you know what? We might even make some more. So give the Elendor Chronicles soundtrack Volume 1 a shot. It's free to stream everywhere. And if you want the high quality downloads, you can come over to our Patreon and download them, or you can contact me directly at tabletop@themidgemansworld.co.uk as a creator, and I'll just give it to you for free. That's it, there's no catch. And just to prove it, we've also given you guys a user license agreement to prove that you have the complete perpetual rights to use this content. So enjoy, and good luck on your next adventure. Oh, good day. I'm Martin Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Avari Military Solutions. We here at Avari know that it doesn't take much to cause problems out on the frontier, whether that be from local pirate raids, neighboring interstellar powers, or even just an unhappy populace with unreasonable demands. Just what is a small to mid-sized regional power to do when faced with these problems? You look to Avari for your solutions. With open-ended contracts, well-trained personnel, state-of-the-art aerospace forces, and competitive rates, we stand ready to help find the right solution to your problem. So if you have a problem, why not call Avari for your solution? Our operators are waiting to take your call, and consultations are free of charge.
Avari Military Solutions, a solution for your problem.
Avari Military Solutions is not licensed to operate within the Kark and Grey Baronies, the Andes Corps, or any Class A combat zones. AMS is a subsidiary of Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company.
When is a story more than a story? When a tale is more than words on paper? When is an ad more than the script it's written on? In the darkest and deepest annals of our own history, worlds of wonder and splendor burst through like a blister made of hope. From the brain that's wrestled and riddled with madness, a radiant pustule. Writing, art, that's storytelling. That is the true lust of life.
Really mild taco.
You too can dutifully indulge.
We're a white family.
God damn it! Every time this, I don't like this glitch. Come on now, OBS, stop messing with me. Over to you, Roach.
Okay. Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm just mixing this. It comes in a bag. Doesn't have a tortilla. It just comes in a bag, and then you have to read. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm supporting family. I didn't say it's good.
Avari meal cubes are wild, you know.
Taco in italic.
Yeah. Well, there's burrito in italics. And that one's a good list. That's the good tier. So yeah, you go through all of this, gathering and uncovering a murder by a artificial intelligence. Or not artificial intelligence, a non-human person. Again, we need to illustrate that when we may shorthand AI in this world, non-human persons, they are not artificial intelligences. Those are actually, like, those exist, but those are like PompCons. It's an artificial intelligence. It's non-self-aware. It is limited. It has no consciousness or anything like that. Non-human persons are legally as close to human as you like. They're people. They're people. That's what they are. They're non-human persons. So they are people, but they're not human. So that is a thing. Don't read into the nightmare that is their existence and how they're made, or pulled from another dimension and tortured to exist. Which is how that happens. But that's the thing. Don't read into it. But yeah, so a murder done by a non-human person, possibly. It at least sound like it, or at least I'd hope it'd be a murder with that kind of screaming. But yeah, after you do that,
Depends on the type of scream.
it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. It was very loud, very drawn out, wet. That last one's why you want it to be a murder, because if it's wet screaming, that you don't want to do that. So yeah, we're gonna skip ahead for the rest of your R&R because I think we kind of covered what you're generally going to be doing and all that kind of stuff. We each got their things. Yes. Red?
One thing I will sort of quietly say to Demon. I don't think we should involve Juliet in this either anymore. We have to tell the rest of the guys because they might want out.
I'll think about it.
Understood.
Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, we jump forward till to the end of your R&R, at which point you're all called up to talk with Sunshine. And presented with an op rod for a new operation. Which, let me... Should see a new one in your operations menu called Operation Gamora.
It'll be our secret.
I'm not allowed in the Gamora. I won too many caps there. I won too many games of poker. I'm not allowed in the Gamora.
There can be multiple references going on here.
I'm glad someone got my reference.
No, I got your reference. I was waiting for somebody to make like a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's a lot of references you can make. Does everybody see it before I move on from
I
this
can
point?
see it.
You can see it. Okay. So yeah. You are presented with Operation Gamora and its op rod, which details an operation in which you and 5th Company Raptor will be attached to a task force from your naval detachment, and you're being sent off to take over an asteroid.
Cool.
It's too late to make a modification to our mechs.
I was allowing it. I know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I was going to allow a modification to be done. Which is why one of the reasons I wish we could have had a longer episode last time, wish we could have gone through it, because that would have allowed you to do it over the intervening period. But oh well, that is a thing. So I could have gotten to this part of the story and we could have presented this. But yes, does anyone want to read this aloud, or should I just go ahead and do it?
I'll do it.
Cool. Go ahead and do it, Rival, while I eat my taco.
Oprod, date 11/2/5016U. Location, capital city, Tenon Prime. Forces, elements of 1st Battalion of Combat Mechs, 9th AMS Combat Mech Battalion, 5th Company Raptor, Special Combat Group Section Hammer. Yeah, we got a Special Combat Group Section. Elements of AMS Battle Group X-Ray, Task Force Riposte. That is the AMSS Riposte, the AMSS Prescott, and the AMS Wildchild. situation. Avari naval forces in the Tenem system have been active in hunting down the last combat-capable forces of the Tenem Republic System Defense Navy. In the last week, a major hub of Tenem military activity has been found to be operating on a large asteroid within the Inner System asteroid belt, henceforth referred to as TS113. Current intelligence suggests that the Tenem Navy uses TS-113 as a rearm and repair base, while access to their orbital facilities around Tenem Prime are not operative. Mission. Due to the limited availability of facilities in the system that are capable of supporting military naval assets, the current aim is to strike on TS-113 that will take control of crew support systems and defense systems, and thus force its small onboard support crew to surrender the facility to Avari personnel. With this mission in mind, SCGS Hammer and the 5th Company Raptor will be transported by ship to TS-113, undertake a forced landing on its surface, and breach its defenses. Execution. Phase 1. Transport to TS-113. TF Riposte will onboard the assigned elements of the 9th AMS and move towards the orbital path of TS-113. While moving towards this intercept window, all communication with TF and onboard elements of the 9th AMS will be forbidden. Only highly curated radio traffic will be allowed, so as to give the illusion of normal naval patrol. I'm going to sneeze. Phase 2, combat insertion. When the commander of the TF Riposte deems the range safe and the onboarded elements of 9th AMS will undertake a forced combat landing on the surface of TS-113 and force their way inside. This will likely involve combat actions by both the Navy forces and in the area, as well as Mech forces. Phase 3, hostile takeover. When surviving Mech forces have forced their way inside the enemy facility, their main objectives will be to take control of both life support systems and the facility-wide defense systems. With both of these under control, enemy forces will be unlikely to continue resisting. Service support. The TF Riposte will be on station both during the transit to TS-113 and during the combat operation. Onboard medical, communications, rearm, and repair will be available when possible. Coordinating instructions. Maintain strict adherence to the rules of engagement. Maintain situational awareness and adjust plans as necessary based on real-time intelligence. Conclusion. Operation Gomorrah is a mission of the utmost importance. Its success will both hinder Terran Republic naval forces to continue and operate in the inner system, and will help our own forces to better support the ground operations in the near future.
That sounds like fun. That's
Any
red.
questions?
I think Padre is just going to look at the report on his data tablet and under his breath go, "Why does it always say surviving Mech?"
Sunshine pipes up. There's an when the NHPs and the mission specialists make these missions, there is an estimated amount of casualties that are programmed in, and the amount of forces taken is larger.
It's for legal purposes.
And you're in Hammer Group now, Padre, so they expect us to die anyway.
I toss Demon to black coffee cubes.
Catches midair, stands up.
Survivor rates here.
Group. Is Hammer Group going to be working independently, or are we working under Raptor command?
You and Raptor will be working together as two component forces within this operation. You'll be being assigned specifics upon your arrival. We don't expect one group to take on both the defense systems and the life support systems of the asteroid. We expect you both to do them simultaneously. But you'll probably have to work together as a unit to punch through and actually get onto the surface.
When do we ship out?
You
Because we need to make
should
some maps.
be. Yes. You should have a day or day and a half, depending on certain logistics, before you're out. Should be enough time for you to modify your mechs.
When it says life support system, I assume that means in the buildings on the asteroid and not the whole asteroid.
The whole asteroid is hollow, as far as we can tell. Has been hollowed out and been so it to use some wet Navy nomenclature, it can be used as a dry dock.
So there's life support within the hollow.
Doubtful.
Yeah.
It's a dry dock. You'd have to
Well,
pressurize the entire inside of the asteroid and then depressurize it again every time ship came out.
But there is definitely facilities built into the crust.
Probably
And
haul
what
it out
sort
at
of
some point.
G are we talking?
We don't expect there to be any gravity. Minuscule. We don't expect. It does not seem to have spin.
It's about this time that Oleg, who is really slow and has just now gotten to this, like, wait a minute! This is what I do!
It is Oleg.
Yeah.
Yeah!
I've seen him.
It's
Daddy.
been a while.
Oleg
Big
is
goofy
happy.
grin on his face, so I was thinking about it too.
Does intelligence give us any information of ships currently in the dry dock?
Unknown as of right now. Though the likelihood of there being a substantial presence is low. As there's not a lot of substantial presence of their naval forces. But it does seem with as large as asteroid, it can definitely do full service to sub-capital ships. So anything below a cruiser. But you have a heavy escort. Task Force Riposte is a fairly heavy hammer to use.
Didn't get a breakdown of any particular ground forces on the site.
That is also unknown, though most likely light. It's a naval facility. Whatever is currently onboarded would be expected. Limited to no native contingent of mechs.
So
Do we know the make? Sorry, Reaper, go ahead.
no, you go. You go. This is an out of. My question's out of game.
Do we know the composition of the asteroid? Is it rocky? Is it metallic? I'm just wondering about 0G and floating mechs are really hard to pilot.
What was that? Sorry, say again.
What's the composition of the asteroid? Because if we can get any sort of magnetization in our boots or whatever, then it's going to be easier for us to propel ourselves.
Well, it's an inner system. It's part of the inner belt. So likelihood of it being a rocky / metallic asteroid, but whether or not it's a magnetically usable.
Mechs are going to be hard. Unless you've got jump jets, mechs are going to be hard.
There is a compatibility suite that I would highly recommend. Allows mechs to filter excess heats that would typically build up on large mechs that get too hot, and let you direct yourself. Very good in low gravity.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, it might be worth having a look at the mechs and seeing if we can fit it onto everything.
Yeah. My question is out of game. Did we ever get the name? Did anyone ever name the Tandem Elite mechs that we ran into? Like, did they get a call sign as a group, or like
Not
is
as a
that-
team, no.
Yeah. So like
You had the
got one or two of
individuals.
the names.
You have
Yeah.
all the names.
Yeah, we have all the names.
Yeah.
but I was wondering if we had given them all a name yet. But Reaper kind of sits back in the chair and goes, if this is that important, I'd fully expect it to have a similar team to Blackjack and his men.
There's a possibility.
Have they been seen in combat since? Because they weren't where we went, but I don't know whether anyone else reported them.
Blackjack and their crew?
Yeah.
Not that you've heard of.
So they didn't come up during my rumors. Like that, they were never mentioned at all. There was no inkling towards that group.
Nope.
No. Okay. That's interesting.
And yeah, you can see TS-113 is an inner system asteroid within the inner system asteroid belt, just outside Tan-M3's orbital path. Tan-M Prime is officially Tan-M2, but it's just called Tan-M Prime because of it's the only habitable planet in system.
How
And
long
as
is
the
the
way,
flight out there?
barring any unforeseen issues, a few days. Because this is thrust, because ships in this, you just, like, you're thrusting there and then you're brake thrusting. You're not doing like a NASA thing where you're just like, you're putting in an insertion burn, then you're gliding all the way, or,
No,
coasting all the way
it's
there.
the expanse.
It's active.
You
It's active
accelerate
thrust.
and then you decelerate.
Yep, so you'll be under gravity most of the time, because there'll be thrust gravity. But once you get there, it'll be 0G combat. Expected enemies are whatever is currently based there. Nothing capital sized has been seen. Again, that's basically anything above a cruiser class, so light cruisers and above. But frigates, destroyers, that kind of thing. Possibility. Corvettes.
Might add to Oleg's tally.
We have a pretty decent record so far against those.
Wouldn't be anything that you fought because it would be rigged for space flight. So it would be different than what you're used to, which are semi-atmospheric from what you faced. And yeah, it's not expected that there's a native mech presence, but there's a possibility that mechs may have been brought in or maybe a part of the crew or defenses of a ship that might be docked.
Or possibly hodgepodged. It's a war zone, after all.
Gameplay question, game-related question.
Yeah.
Do we know if any certain types of weapons/munitions don't work in space?
Mechanically, no.
Okay, cool.
Your missiles
Everyone's
don't
gotta
use
take
combustion or anything like
Take
that.
off all their combustion-based stuff. You got to switch all over to like.
Even if you're using a machine gun or something like that, just assume it works.
Okay.
Because bullets would work in space.
I'm using energy weapons as my thing. I was just like, I don't know how
they would work in space.
Okay.
Energy, 100%.
Right, so I don't know how it was working. My energy weapons might be oxidizing the atmosphere. Like I've got. I don't know.
Actually,
if
they'll
we're
work
talking
better in space than they will in atmosphere. Because
they wouldn't.
There's no atmosphere to refract the beam, so they'd actually be more effective.
Yeah, lasers will go forever, but in an atmosphere, lasers will. The moisture in the air will actually, like if it's a humid day, lasers would.
Oh, that's to be fair.
Suck.
That's right. Mine one of my weapons is
Theoretically, as well, like if we're talking hard science here, radiation-based weaponry or anything like that would actually be really shitty in space because there's like it's not you. Yeah, it wouldn't.
All of my weapons
It-
are rail weapons, so
Well,
magnets, bitch.
So
Yeah.
basically, what we're saying is you should start doing the gunnery sergeant in Mass Effect
I was
2.
just about to say that.
Yeah.
Don't
Hey.
I?
Isaac Newton is the deadliest motherfucker.
Deadliest son of a bitch in space.
No, I just started rereading one of my guns and I remembered, oh, actually, one of my weapons is a weaponized result of a fast and light travel experiment gone wrong. So, I think it works in space.
Does happen, yeah. It checks out.
Yeah, mechanically, doesn't matter. There's no difference between no atmosphere and atmosphere. This game doesn't care that much about it, even if I might. In my soul.
And us asking the particularly nerdy questions goes at, space nerds.
Yeah. There's a reason some of us all here have at least one hard sci-fi RPG that we own or have played before, with the Elite Dangerous one or my copy of the Expanse RPG, which is not good. Might I add, it's not good.
I wish it was.
I do too. All of its art's based off the book descriptions of the characters too. So Amos looks horrible in the book.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Amos in the book is much older than Amos the handsome fellow in the TV show.
Much
I've been
older,
told I
much
look like
uglier.
him. I've been told I look like the TV show Amos. I
I
don't
can
get
see
it,
it.
though.
I can see it. Like there's their vagueness of it.
I'm a big dude with a beard.
Yeah, essentially that, yeah. And not 100% hetero either. That's another
Yeah,
thing.
true.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the map of where TS113 is. Not that it necessarily tells you anything because space travel, and we're not going to track it that closely. But yeah, so if you want to modify your mech with what's necessary to operate in 0G or microgravity, you can do so. You have the time for it.
Mechanically, 0G is a problem, isn't it?
Yes. So without
yes.
the EVA module, you are slowed. Basically,
Yes.
You move at half speed constantly.
Think of it like with the EVA module. Think of the EVA module as an EVA module on like the astronauts from the ISS or something like that. You know, it's like the little like incursion module on the back. It gives you thrust capabilities because theoretically in 0G you're able to orient yourself in a three-dimensional plane while on the same axis, but you're not able to incur velocity in any direction. So that's what the EVA module does. It gives you the ability of velocity and braking to do that. So, but it doesn't want to totally immobilize you. So if you don't have that, you're slowed, which halves your movement in there. Which, because I guess theoretically, there's like stabilizer jets or something all mechs kind of have, but they're like really shitty for this kind of work. So that's the thing.
It's
but yeah.
basically the spacesuits from Kerbal Space Program. You jump out of the spaceship and you can like fly around a little bit in them, and then jump back into your spaceship.
Or you can fall onto your back because they are really top heavy.
Yeah,
they are everything. But yeah, that's the thing. Funny story. The Gundam anime series, the reason Gundams exist in the original lore is specifically because it's a shape that can maneuver itself on one axis, on like a three-dimensional axis without using thrusters. It can't do any velocity, but it can orient itself like an astronaut who's turning on place and then stopping themselves by using their arms and legs to change their center of mass. Everything. And that's how that works. Yeah. That's the lore behind it. Not just because they wanted giant robots. Science! As a post-hoc rationalization because mechs are cool. God damn it.
Oh,
Yeah. And they are. That's why we're playing this. But yeah, so you can go ahead and modify what is necessary. You will have those modifications finished by the time you are picked up. There is no problem with that.
Yeah, so we all need to update our mechs before next week unless you want to go slow.
Next week would be good. Would definitely be good. Everything. This
It's
taco is
ice.
a
It's
lot
a mounted
spicier
stick,
than I
isn't it?
initially thought it was going to be.
Sounds good, honestly. I'd fuck with that.
It's okay. It's a food truck taco, which, I mean, admittedly, probably some of the best tacos I've had.
It's very much the kebab kind
It's
of
a low
situation
quality.
post
It's a
the
low
overcooked
quality
one.
food truck taco. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
like
food truck taco that primarily goes to places like Farmersville, Illinois.
Yeah. Like this is basically a case of it's the kebab situation post Elven cooking wine in Sleeping Giants, where you're like,
it's food.
It's food.
This is calories.
Yeah, it's calories.
Yeah.
It's carbohydrates to absorb some of the alcohol.
But yeah. And also for context, if anybody did not get that, in there, you will be escorted by Task Force Riposte, which is led by the Destroyer, Riposte, and you will have 2 other Destroyers in that task force as well. So this is a 3-Destroyer task force, which is for task groups, for Battle Group X-Gray, I actually think is the only one that is a full Destroyer task force. Yeah. The only other sub-capital class task force is the Do or Die, which I think that was the one that you had previously, which had the Do or Die, the High Top, the Last Call, and then the Frigate Rolling Stop. So yeah.
I've already adjusted my mech. Can I just go ahead and sync it?
You'll be able to sync it. I'll have to handle the actual placing of different things around off stream in this. But yeah. So, if there's anything you'd like to do right before you leave, you may do so. Like roleplay wise. But otherwise, if not, we can move forward.
The armor suits. Do they have a rebreather or anything with them?
We'll say they do. We'll say they have you can have a helmet.
They are hard suits, so probably, yeah.
Yeah. They could probably double as that. Probably wouldn't have like long-term EVA capabilities. Probably be a short-term, like,
Yeah, there would have to be something, because if there's a breach on a ship, you need to be having some sort of protection for at least a little bit.
Yeah. Probably get a helmet. And it probably has O2 for, I don't know, like 20 minutes or something like that. Whatever's the minimum necessary for, like, yeah, you can probably be rescued in this period of time. Kind of anything longer would be like on a ship would be like you need a life support, or you need like a
As far in the future, we literally have printers that can produce just about anything. They might have like compartmentalized like CO2 scrubbers, where you could theoretically breathe in this contained environment for like not indefinitely, but for very prolonged periods of time.
Well, the problem with like these suits isn't necessarily the CO2 filtering as a problem, because like it would specifically just be the amount of O2 like on board would be the problem, because usually if you have like that kind of like rescue breather system, or like the limitation on it, it would just be like it's not even holding gas when you breathe it out, that's being vented, and then it's just like being replaced by pure O2, and it's kind of just like it's whatever the tank's got on it, and probably like a small amount everything. But I'd say like 20 or 30 minutes just to keep it like that's what you got. And again, it's a hard suit, so it's pretty minimal in terms of its bulkiness. I shouldn't eat while I talk. But yeah,
Actually, not spicy.
It's not even that spicy. It's just spicier than I thought. Because again, I'm like, I'm white, but I'm not that white. I just didn't expect it to have anything to it. But yeah. So
Okay, the only thing that Spanner would do, if she has time, is work on some of the Avari files because Sunshine pissed her off.
Okay. So you don't have enough time to do anything of substance to get anything like right now. That'd be like a
No,
full
that's
downtime
fine.
activity.
And she's not
You
going to
did
be
the thing
able
with the-
to on the because comms are down on the ship, so it's not like she can get into the interwebs.
Also, you could set like a program to try and
Actually, no, that's not what I'll do. What I'll do is put a couple of my boxes together.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. I'll allow that. Yeah. I have like 2 bites left of this. I'm trying to finish it off so I don't.
It's not a problem. Everyone, the EVA is 1 system point on your mech. So you'll just have to take something off and to put it on.
I think I know what I'm taking off.
I know I know I'm taking off my personalizations. Unfortunately, my little statue of the one needs to be moved as I need more dashboard room to control the EVA system. So sadly, it's taken up like
what you've done is you've put the statue of the one in like where the joystick would be. Because it's like a nice easy control point.
Exactly. So
you gotta take it out to drop it in.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say it's not 0G compliant. There's no way, like it's not secured enough, so it doesn't pass inspection.
Oh,
so you gotta
even worse. It's admin that's keeping him from being on board.
Yeah.
What I'm going to ask the rest of the team because I know some of us have changed our mechs. What's our loadouts now, guys? Do we want to quickly run through what our mechs are now?
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if the audience know, but also we fully as a team know.
It's a good point. Yeah, let's go.
You go first, Midge.
Fine.
Yeah.
So I'm still running Constantine, which is my my Harrison Armory Sherman. However, he's had a few upgrades since, namely being the old school arm loading mortar and the super heavy howitzer have been heavy weapon howitzer have been replaced by one singular weapon, a fully braced tachyon lance, which is a unstable modified version of a faster than light engine that just throws energy at things and heat. Yeah, I'm fully embracing the energy weapons, mainly because no one really on our team did energy damage, and I think it's good for us to variety up our types. It's still kind of
that D&D brain.
It's kind
it's
of
like, so who's doing blunt
artillery.
damage?
It's that, and it's just funny the preacher is using the power of energy. It just like it's the one's radiance, radioactive radiance.
I got the one.
No,
and
it's
science
Isaac
on my side.
2.0. It's Isaac 2.0
Oh God, no! And the
no.
other thing is,
It's a radiant damage.
I have an Azura class protocoled NHP by the name of Smith. This NHP was developed from mistake after mistake of basically it's a recoded Puppet Master virus that was originally a little bit haywire and often killed the pilots of the mechs that it was put into. However, they've dumbed it down a little bit and it's kind of fine now. So yeah, their name is Smith.
The avatar you have in front of you is they've taken on the like when they display themselves, they display an image of a nondescript human being in a black suit with kind of
Hugo Weaving's voice.
It's just
yeah, with Hugo Weaving's voice and glasses that look just just enough out of place that you can pick them out in a crowd, but like not enough where it like messes with the whole set design and lore around them. Where they're supposed to be nondescript. Like they look distinct enough if they were in a crowd of a whole bunch of nondescript.
Anderson.
Mr. Kerwin.
It doesn't have the same name.
Yeah. He always refers to you as Mr. O'Kerwin.
Please let it be whenever Padre gets in. It's like, Mr. O'Kerwin, I missed you.
Yep. So that's Smith. He can fully take control of my Mech if needs be, which is very useful if I'm going to be needed to medic people. To be able for me to run actually and provide medical attention.
Will you get it back?
That's all dependent on the power of the one and the matrix that he controls. May it ever flow with the numbers through your veins. 1001. And yeah, so that
Smith is a devout follower of the one.
Yeah,
believes in him wholeheartedly.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, that's the only changes to my Sherman. Oh no, actually, I will say though, I at this level, license level, we all also got a special pilot.
Not everyone. You have to have 3 license levels in one specific manufacturer to get a core bonus.
Yes. So I actually do have a core bonus because I'm fully kitted out on the Sherman. And I have the heapful coolant system, which means my overcharges never go past 1d6. So, more actions, basically.
Yeah. Red. Spanner.
The Brave was pretty much perfect as she was, as everybody knows, because it was the most irritating mech to Roach and therefore perfect in every single way. Only updates are the same as Constantine in that with the license level up, I've got a couple of new toys. Basically, I've got mirror image now, which it's called dimensional emblems, but you create 3 size 1 data constructs in 3 spaces adjacent to your target. And then if they pass through it, it takes 2 heat damage and the target takes damage. And then I've got Celestial Shackles. Which means I can teleport targets wherever I please. Which is just fun. But other than that, the only thing I've got is a sort of pilot skill, which gives me a bit more boost if I decide to actually shoot something rather than tech attack.
When is that ever going to happen?
Never, hopefully.
All right. Demon.
Demon's still in downtown. So we have the.
Get up here.
So we've still got that M35 Molnir cannon, which we all know and love for putting a massive fracking hole through the enemy's chest. I've gone with some my standard pistols. I've gone with 2 Nexus Light pistols. They're smart weapons, so they've got a bit of extra range. Still got the assault rifle on my flex mount, and I took a little direction from Reaper and picked up an anti-material rifle because I needed some armor piercing. Still got the rapid burst jump jets, CompCon, expanded compartment, and the EVA thing. I've also gone with manipulator arms, so anything needs to be done on something smaller.
So you got your little hands.
Little hands as well. And on top of all that, sloped armor, which gives me +1 armor. So I now have 2 armor.
Yep, to a maximum of 4+ with the slope with that upgrade, so it can stack.
It can stack. But
so
so I now have 2 armor, so I can get a bit closer and take a bit more while hitting from range. Everyone
pretty
seemed
good.
to be going for either
I-
close range or far away, so I decided to kind of hit from range and close the gap.
Yeah, I love the description because it's so over the top sci-fi in this game that the armor package, the sloped armor plating that you took, it isn't just like extra added armor on here. The description, like the actual like text description, it is an integrated armor fabrication, which seems to reduce external like gaps. So that reads like it's producing armor as you extend a gap, and then it's taking away armor when you get the gap. Like when you close it up, like it's just making and then evaporating armor to like make it like.
It sounds so sci-fi. It's amazing.
That's like we're like this is the thing I love about like really high sci-fi is it's approaching magic and it's fun. Like it's great.
You mean to tell me that like a phone to like someone from the 17th century isn't magic?
Okay, now you're getting into the magic is just a science that we don't understand yet.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
They have bad example. They did just turn lead into gold.
Yeah, that's true. They did.
They just did that. So bad example. Like of this exact time, which we are dating this episode.
Newton would be so happy.
Yeah, or pissed off that he didn't do it.
Both.
Both. Yeah, both. Reaper, go ahead.
So, for me, I've actually adjusted my pilot talents a little bit, as well as some of my mech stuff. So when it comes to my pilot talents, I picked up Brutal, because of the fact that I have so much damage reliant on crits. I feel like if I rolled the 20, I should just say, no, you no longer exist. So I'm like, that just seemed to make sense in my mind. Anything else that I adjust? No. So that was the only pilot thing I adjusted. For my... What are they called again? For my core bonus, I picked up Full Subjectivity Sync, which is by creating a stable two-way ontologic bridge. SSC has removed the need for pilots to rely on physical controls alone to control their mech. Using a full subjectivity sync, pilots perceive their mech as their own body and control it via neural impulse. Somatosensory feedback is translated into the pilot as well. So caution is advised despite I can't pronounce that word. It's some sort of dampening defaults built into the system. So basically, when the mech gets shot, instead of me being like, "Oh, I just got shot with a 40 mil cannon," because that's how that feedback works, it just gives me 2 evasion, so I'm now more evasive. When it comes to my actual mech loadout, I now have a railgun, a rail cannon instead of a anti-material rifle, which does 1d6 plus 4 damage. It's range 20. It's a line instead of a single hit target. So, yay. What else did I change?
Ordnance, AP, and it's heat 2.
Yes. I did take a lot of things that give me more heat capacity. So that was something. I moved a lot of stuff over to engineering, basically. Is there anything else I changed? No, not particularly. That's basically it.
Okay.
Yeah, still with the Reaper's Due, the SSC Death's Head.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The most vanilla token possible in retrograde miniatures, because it's one of the first ones they made, so they didn't have a lot of options.
For the major customizations, you have to pay for them for the Death Head. So I just don't. Also, I don't think Reaper would do anything particularly fancy with his customizations.
Though I do pay for retrograde minis. I am on their Patreon, so I have access to a lot of their customization stuff. So if you ever want to, you let me know. We can do that. Fathead.
Right. So I am continuing to run the Saladin class called Crusader. The only major change is that I have now plugged in a Noah class NHP. The Noah class NHP obviously gives me a more advanced AI companion, and on top of that, gives me the Diluvian Arc special ability. Diluvian Arc special ability just while it slows my mech, it also gives me each time I or an allied adjacent character are targeted by a ranger attack, I can take one heat as a reaction, roll a d6, and on a 4+, I take an additional heat, and the attack automatically misses. And on top of that, each time a range attack fails to hit me or an adjacent allied character, the attacker takes 4 kinetic damage. So basically, it's sort of like a reflection shield on top of my already pre-existing tachyon shield, which is my core ability.
Yeah, it's not bad. You also got a new core bonus for investing so much in the mech that you've got.
Where do I see the core bonuses?
Pilot Tactical should have it on your pilot sheet. I don't know where it is on your mech sheet.
Oh, there we go. Stasis shielding. Whenever you take stress damage, you gain resistance to all damage until the start of your next turn.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I am a walking wall.
Yeah. Fathead, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay. And Oleg, last but not least.
Oleg has yet again changed his mech up. We've allowed the clunky, slower mech that we were using before, the Tortuga, to retire, and we have opted to take on the Orcus, which is very much it's a bodyguard mech. It is a royal guard for some of the baronies, but in this case, this is just the bodyguard mech that he is using now, complete with a very fancy Skuta shield that prevents any attack from doing anything if it misses him or a target that he's adjacent to him. I'm going to make this analogy now because it's going to come up a lot later. In a Captain America effect wheel, I have a shield. The things cannot get through if I don't want them to get through it. The other bonuses to this is if he ever rams something via throwing the shield at them, which he can do, or just shoving them with the siege ram that he has, which I think at this point is actually just his shield. He can throw the shield at them again and do some damage to them. He also has a shadow effect where if he's standing next to a character that starts to move, he can follow them and move in the exact same way that they move up to some of his speed, so he can move around very quickly around the battlefield, keeping people safe. As far as weaponry, some of his talents have changed. He no longer has the exemplar talent because honestly I just forgot to use it all the time because marking things just never worked out, and when he was rarely in range to mark things. Instead that has been changed out for the engineer one, as he has been tinkering around with his mech and coming up with some new weapons. Right now he is equipped with it is a range 10 CQB weapon. It is essentially a light shotgun, a long-range light shotgun that is going to be used to some effect, I imagine, in the future. He's still using the deck sweeper, still a classic deck sweeper, but he has added in, because this mech also has a main auxiliary mech, he has a missile launcher as a spare, and the core that he chose was the auto-stabilizing hardpoints, which basically means all weapons on a mount have +1 accuracy, period. So that's been added to the deck sweeper, because the deck sweeper, we're just trying to make it as accurate as possible because it's a 2d6 weapon, and why not? Yeah, that's pretty much the stuff that he's working in. He's also got some neat stuff from the Orcus subplot, which I believe is the I can't remember the name of the original mech, but he's got the PCP, which is a perimeter command plate, which is something that he can print out as a quick action, and if anybody friendly steps on it, they can launch 3 squares in whatever direction they want. If an enemy steps on it, then they have to make a save or get launched 3 squares in a direction that Oleg wants. Fun stuff like that.
Some very good options chosen by the players. A lot of interesting upgrades.
Clearly,
or just evolutions of things.
Clearly, I took my mech is really slow personally and decided that's never going to be a problem again.
Everyone else moves faster than me, and I took that personally.
With certain movements in this, Oleg can move somewhere in the ballpark of like 20 squares a turn. If he uses all of his actions and such to do that, he just goes. You point a spot, I get there. CQB, you need to be able to fast be CQB.
Freaking Sonic theme.mp3.
God. You're going to be in good company. Because when you arrive, I think you wouldn't have seen the mech previously, but essentially the team that you're going to be working with, at least the lead mech, Phoenix's mech, definitely looks like it's a quick one too. You're going to be in good company with that.
She likes to go fast.
Yeah, it's almost like that's like.
Does her mech have racing stripes?
Does it have
no,
go faster stripe?
No, it's painted up like it's like on like think of like a stylized thing of like being on fire, not flames, but like as in like the colors from like fire kind of going upward, like in a.
So every paint scheme that Rival's ever done in Mech Warrior.
Yeah, except it also has like a long flowing cloak because it's a morning cloak from the from SSC. Is what it is. So it's a lot. So it's quick. But yeah. So yeah, we got that. I think it's like default. It's like 5 or something like that. But there's a lot of abilities that allow it to just like phase out of existence and teleport. So there's a lot of shit with that combat profile. But yeah. So we went over all that. And then the next day, you finish up all your mech modifications for 0G flight and combat, and you board a transport, a very similar transport than that you've been in before, along with Raptor Company, who also board along with you to go up to the transport ship that you were going to be riding in for the next couple of days. Hopefully uneventfully until you get to the asteroid, but who knows? And take over said asteroid as a mission. I know we're way early for this on here, but I do need to double check all of this. We're basically we're moving over towards the pre-game stuff to the action, or not the pre-game stuff, the pre-mission like op stuff into the op stuff. It's a good stop point for this like part of it as like an R&R episode. I know we're like I think an hour early, or like we're like 50 something minutes early. But it'd be a good stop point to like as a break point between the two, because I don't want to get midway through something and then stop
so
it. So I think that's a good one to go. That way also other people they can update their profiles and stuff in the week.
So thank you everybody for watching. All we've got left to do is to thank those who have been here. So thank you to Roach for GMing and writing this campaign. Thank you to Red Moogle and RivalZone from RivalzoneGaming. Thank you to SurelyOnlyMikey. Thank you to Utari Onzo, to DM Lake, and I have been Midgeman, and we have been the Tuesday Crew, and we'll be back next time. Bye-bye for now.